On this week's show, Peloton holds their latest earnings call and a new feature on the leaderboard to rank by distance.
Plus, Peloton has a new progressive push ride type. Emma Lovewell is teaching Pilates again, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 222 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and I am joined by my birthday boy, John Pruitt. Hey, John.
Hey, how are you, Amanda?
I am well. Well, how about you that you get to record this on your birthday?
On my actual birthday, I know.
On your actual birthday. Well,
and happy birthday to your Mark.
Thank
as well.
you. Thank you. Yeah, lots of birthdays. These Taurus men in my life. What can I say?
May birthdays are the best. Jackson's birthday is right around the corner in May as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, we have lots to talk about today. So
yes.
We are going to get right into it. As always, folks, before we get started with the news, we'd like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button so that you never miss an episode.
Yep, and we're on all traditional podcast platforms. If you just want to listen, find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
And of course, we are on all social media platforms. Just find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and make sure that you like us so that you never miss anything. And now, folks, let's get on with the show.
Right.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, I will kick it off with Peloton's Q3 fiscal year 2025 earnings result. This past Thursday, May 8th, Peloton came out with their Q3 earnings results, marking the first full quarter under new CEO Peter Stern. While the company saw declines in hardware sales and total subscribers, it did report improvements on cost structure, adjusted EBITDA, and net loss, indicating operational efficiency gains. So that's a good thing. Some of the key performance highlights we saw was total revenue. So they're at $624 million. That is 7% down from Q2 and a 13% year-over-year decrease. Hardware revenue is at $205.5 million, also down. That's 19% from Q2, with a 27% decrease year-over-year. As far as total members, 6.1 million. So that's 1% from 6.2 million in Q2. As far as their paid connected fitness subscriptions go, that they saw an increase. So they're at 2.880 million, which is a 5,000 increase from Q2, but 171,000 year to year, which is a decrease.
And that's on the app subscriptions.
Exactly, the app subscription. Hold on, let's have a look. That is the fitness, the paid connected fitness. No, that is not the app. That is actually the paid connected fitness. As far as the app goes, as far as the paid app subscriptions, they are also down. So that is there at 0.573 million, which is 2% down quarter over quarter and 15% down year over year. Net loss is 47.7 million, which is actually improved from the 92 million last quarter. The adjusted EBITDA, 89.4 million, which is an increase from the 58.4 million last quarter. So their free cash flow is at 94.7 million, Also a decrease from the 106 million in the Q2 earnings, but 1,000% or kind of roughly year over year. So again, not great numbers.
Yeah.
Certainly, does err on the side of caution. Some of the strategic takeaways from Peter Stern was that he introduced a 4-pillar strategy to improve member outcomes. So this was kind of his 4-pillar strategy is 1, improve member outcomes, 2, meet members everywhere, create members for life, and operate with business excellence. So those are kind of his 4 pillars that he's looking at continuing to build the company, into something. Peloton is raising their fiscal 25 guidance midpoints for revenue and the adjusted EBITDA and subscription metrics, signaling cautious optimism despite the current declines. So not entirely, chaotic, but definitely he is on the ball in making sure that things pick up and that he has the members at the forefront of what he's looking at for this, which
Right.
I like because, as we said when we first had him kind of join, he was a member first. So he knows what it's like to be a member before a CEO.
He knows they're the foundation.
Exactly.
Yep. And the bread and butter.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for that update, Amanda. Well, Peloton is currently rolling out a brand new feature for the leaderboard on hardware devices. And it's the ability for you to see where you rank in terms of distance traveled rather than by output, which is the normal way. This has been confirmed on both the bike and the tread so far. So since Peloton's inception, the only metric, like I mentioned, used to rank members on the leaderboard was output, or just known as power. On the bike, it's a combination of cadence and resistance. On the tread, it's a combination of your speed and incline. So this one specific number determines where members fall in the ranking on that leaderboard with the rest of the folks in the class. So moving forward now, though, members can toggle between either view, the output ranking or the distance ranking. So this a new pop-up has begun to appear on Peloton devices, alerting folks to the new feature. And the pop-up reads, switch between output and distance view anytime. And I haven't noticed it yet. I haven't received any update on my tread or bike. I haven't noticed it yet. But now for the folks that have received that update, there are now 2 new buttons in the top right-hand corner of your leaderboard window pane. And one indicates power, the other indicates distance. And then you can just, select which one you want to have your leaderboard ranking calculated. Selecting the distance option, it will add a distance metric to the end of the number. So for example, 2.56 mi for miles, likely to be displayed in kilometers.
Get what you say.
Yeah, tongue twisted. Likely to be displayed in kilometers in countries outside of the U.S.
Just going to say that I wonder if they'll do that. Sure. Makes sense.
And then one thing to note, that the distance view currently does not, if you have that view selected, it does not currently display a PR for that output, for that number, if you're using the distance. So maybe at some point that'll obviously update, but currently it's unclear whether they'll add that for the distance metric if you select that. So it's really unclear whether the update is rolled out to everyone. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet on my bike or tread. I haven't noticed it. But some folks, you might need to just install the latest software update in order to gain access to the new feature, or they might just be rolling it out in waves like they do a lot of times.
Nice. All right. Well, a new class type has been introduced. It is called Progressive Push Rides, and it is designed to help members build endurance through steady, structured intervals. These low-impact rides gradually increase in challenge without reaching all-out intensity, making them ideal for building cardiovascular stamina and confidence. The debut class was taught by Hannah Frankson on May the 7th, so just this past Wednesday it dropped. The class was endurance focused with increasing interval lengths. So, for example, it went from 1 to 5 minutes. Members stayed in the saddle with moderate resistance, so the resistance was between 30 and 50, focusing on breathing and not burnout. There was a 90-second rest in between intervals. And the goal is really for one to feel breathy but not breathless. The objective is to work at a controlled, sustainable pace with potential future variations that may be offered, as the program progresses. So they're saying that, maybe they'll do progress resistance or cadence instead of time. Some of the other instructors expected to teach this format, from what we hear, is Leanne Hainsby Oldest and Benny Adami. This is Peloton's third new class type in 3 months, including their extra steps, which we saw in March, and then the rolling hills and yoga drills, which came out in April. So this seems to be May's new release.
Very cool. Well, Emma Lovewell is officially joining the full-time Pilates coaching team, which marks a new regular class type for her on the schedule going forward. So Emma relaunched onto Pilates with 2 different on-demand classes this past Wednesday. They are a 15-minute Pilates Express and a 20-minute music genre Pilates. And then, in case you missed it, Peloton recently revamped their Pilates and bar content with new class formats. So Emma's new classes include some of those class types. And as I said, Emma relaunched because she's not completely new to Pilates. She currently has 5 Pilates classes available in the library from 2020 and 2021. And she was one of the first instructors originally to teach them at Peloton, but she hasn't taught any since then in nearly 4 years. So it'll be nice to have her on the regular Pilates instructor team.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Callie Gullickson's been busy too. She has introduced her first Strength Plus program titled Grit and Glutes. It's a 2-week intermediate level strength training plan focused on building glute strength and full body power. The program is available through the Peloton Strength Plus app, so you can only find it there. It details as follows. It's a 2-week program with 3 workouts per week. So again, they'd like you to do day 1, 3, and 5. The class length is between 30 and 45 minutes, focusing on lower body strength with a full body component. One will need a loop band, dumbbells, kettlebell, barbell, bench plyo box, but they always say that modifications are available. A breakdown of the program is as follows. Week 1 and 2, workout 1 is push it, which is barbell squats, overhead presses. It's a 45-minute class. Workout 2 is pull it, which is deadlifts and bent over rows, also a 45-minute class. And then workout 3 is a full body sweat. It's a high intensity full body circuit, which is just 30 minutes. The program, they say, is designed to kind of build muscle, increase confidence, and provide a targeted yet accessible path to your glute growth while maintaining that total body conditioning. So another nice strength program. They're definitely pushing strength. No question that there's so much new
focus
on strength, which I love. It's
Yeah.
great. Now if I could just do it.
Now I just need the motivation to actually use that app or use my guide.
Right.
It's just gathering dust.
To do it.
Peloton has highlighted a few classes on the upcoming schedule via their weekly This Week at Peloton social media post, which covers this past week, May 5th through the 11th. So first up, you can celebrate May. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Bradley Rose has a 20-minute mental health awareness ride, which occurred live this past Tuesday, May 6th. So it's in the library currently. There was, interestingly, there was a long delay in it actually.
I was going to mention it in the mental health stuff.
Apparently there was some sort of power outage at
power outage
PSL.
Yes, exactly.
But luckily, it was saved. It was, it was stored. He didn't have to re-record it like what happens a lot of times when there's some sort of technical glitch. So it's now on demand. So folks have, been taking it since. So also on Tuesday, May 6th, Kira Michelle taught a live 15-minute yoga drills class focusing on back bends. And yoga drills, like you mentioned earlier, Amanda, is a newer yoga class type that just launched last month, combines traditional poses with conditioning training. And then moving on to Wednesday, May 7th, the latest weekly kettlebell class dropped on demand from Jess Sims with a 30-minute kettlebell strength class. And then, as we have previously shared, Peloton does plan to release one kettlebell class a week on Wednesdays for the time being going forward. And then lastly, you can close out the week today, Sunday, May 11th, with a new 60-minute endurance run with Marcel Dinkins.
Nice. Lots of new stuff on the platform. Well, May's featured artist series kicked off with a bang, highlighting American singer, rapper, and songwriter Teddy Swims. He is known for his soulful, that you like,
soulful,
so soulful, as Alex would say. He's known for
Alex should have gotten one of those
right?
classes.
I was surprised you had.
Right up his alley.
Known for his soulful vocals and genre-blending hits. Teddy Swims' music featured across 5 different modalities, all in live classes. We got May 8th, they dropped on May 8th, which was this past Thursday. We got a 20-minute arms and shoulder strength class with Rebecca Kennedy. That was at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A 20-minute yoga flow with Kira Michelle, which was at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Matt Wolpers did a 30-minute ride, which had originally been scheduled with Ali Love. But I think what I kind of investigated
she had an earlier ride that day, a 30-minute classic rock. Soft rock ride at 5:30 p.m.
I think she got tickets to Beyonce in LA because she put something on social that she was heading to LA. So I think that I think she switched it with Matt. I don't think they wanted to cancel it completely. So Matt took over the ride because Ali was heading to LA.
Hey, priorities, man. That Cowboy Carter tour is in full swing.
In full swing. Kirsten Ferguson had a 30-minute walk and Ash Pryor had a row. Additionally, there were actually 3 lane break classes, a ride, a run, and a walk that dropped on demand on the 7th. So each 15 minutes in length. So there's those as well. So you have a little bit of everything for folks to take.
Nice. Well, moving on to some other class types. So May is Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, or APIHM, in the U.S. And as in past years, Peloton is celebrating with some special celebrations and classes. Peloton has shared the class schedule for the first week of May. So the first class, which is Aditi's API Hits Pilates, is currently now available to take on demand. And then for the rest of the schedule, so far for APIHM, there's a 20-minute Bollywood outdoor run with Jess King that dropped on demand on May 7th, a 15-minute K-pop upper body strength in German from Asal, which dropped as a premiere on May 8th, a 15-minute API Hits row from Adrian, which was live on May 10th, and then all the 2025 APIHM classes can be found in Peloton's APIHM class collection, as well as classes from previous years that date back to 2020. And then also taking any 2025 APIHM class will earn you a special badge.
Nice. Well, May is definitely a very busy month. If you're Asian, if you're Jewish, if you have mental health problems, there's tons that Peloton will give to you. And they
lots
also
of options, yeah.
Lots of options. So they also released a beautiful 20-minute Jewish American Heritage Walk with Maddie Giacomo last week in celebration of Jewish American Heritage Month. Maddie has always expressed being, just such a warm and wonderful ally to the Jewish community. So it was really wonderful to have him do that walk. I was surprised that Jen didn't do a ride, but I know that she left. She's off for 2 weeks.
She's been off. Yeah, she had one of her events, her Dear Founder events in South Orange, New Jersey.
On Tuesday.
Tuesday night. And then
she's off for graduation. It's Kylie's graduation this weekend, same as mine.
And then I guess the following week, she's going to Vegas to see Dead and Company at the Sphere. So, she's got a lot on her.
She's very busy.
On her
but I was surprised
calendar.
There wasn't a pre-recorded ride for that.
Yeah, I know.
And then for Mental Health Awareness Month, Peloton are doing just a phenomenal series of special themed classes. They began on May the 4th, and they're continuing throughout the month. So definitely make sure that you check out and look for those. The initiative emphasizes community support, self-care, and mental well-being through movement and mindfulness. They do always state, though, at the beginning of these classes that this is not in lieu of therapy or any, formal mental health kind of, advice. It's just a
that
safe
little
space.
Disclaimer.
I think it's just, they definitely protect themselves there, but it is just a safe space that you can come together for these classes.
I will say, I really like that because you mentioned the disclaimer. I really am happy that they removed that silly disclaimer in front of the extra 10 classes. Do you remember how they?
Yes, I do remember. I didn't know they had taken them off.
It's just so unnecessary that it was about this shouldn't be your. I can't
first
remember
workout,
what the wording.
And I remember
what the
that.
wording was, but it was just unnecessary.
So that's been removed.
Yeah, for a while now, which was
good.
nice.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, some of the highlighted classes, there was a mental health awareness ride with Ali Love, which was last Sunday, May the 4th, with members in studio, and folks said that it was fantastic. And then as John mentioned, Bradley Rose had a 20-minute ride on Tuesday, May the 6th, which I honestly don't have enough words for, as I've been very open myself in my own fertility journey with 3 IVF children, having been born through assisted reproductive technology. Bradley really used the platform to talk about his and his wife Sophia's journey, and his vulnerability, his openness was absolutely remarkable. He really, really spoke. I mean, he said after having dealt with a stroke 5 years ago. Then he had, I'm not sure if you guys remember, a cancer scare at the beginning of the year. And he ended up having surgery for that. And then went into his fertility journey. So you don't have to have been through fertility, but you know what? I think a lot of people on the platform know somebody that's gone through fertility or, have been through it themselves or potentially have kids that are going through it. So it's just a safe space for folks to hear. And it was, if you haven't done it, I mean, it is a pick of the week. I'll talk more about it in picks of the week, but really a fantastic, fantastic ride. I can't recommend it enough. And then on Monday, Rebecca Kennedy dropped a 10-minute mental health awareness stretch, which was also fantastic class. Nico Serrani had a 10-minute meditation in German, while Aditi did one in English. Kirsten Ferguson dropped a 30-minute outdoor walk on May the 8th, and Jeffrey McKeechan has a 30-minute walk plus run in German that will drop on Sunday, May 11th. So that's just today. Members can earn a mental health awareness badge by taking part in any of these sessions. So you don't have to do a certain amount. Any one that you do, you'll get a badge.
Great. Well, Peloton is putting the spotlight on its members in a meaningful way this Mental Health Awareness Month, inviting the community to share personal stories of transformation, resilience, and the power of movement. And in a recent post on the official Peloton member page on Facebook, Peloton shared the following message. If you move your body, you can change your mind. This Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to hear how Peloton has impacted your life. Whether it's a transformation, a milestone, finding a sense of community, or experiencing joy of movement, share your story. So Peloton asks members to submit their stories via a provided link. Members are asked to submit their name, email address, leaderboard name, some basic personal information, how they use Peloton and their preferred workout modalities. And then there is also an option to submit a written story and or upload a picture or video. And the initiative is part of their broader effort to highlight how fitness and mental health are deeply connected. So over the past few weeks, Peloton's been amplifying these member stories across its social media platforms, sharing raw, uplifting, and often emotional journeys that reflect how impactful that movement can be. So recent posts that have highlighted members who have undergone massive weight loss transformations, found joy in marathon running, at-home workouts with Peloton, members who pursue movement to be able to show up for their kids, members who have worked out with Peloton to overcome an injury.
Nice. Really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I guess that goes back to what I said in the earnings call, is where Peter Stern is kind of looking at
focus,
that
yeah.
member, bringing members in. I love it. I think that that's important, which is amazing. All right. Well, in tandem with mental health awareness, I think that it was a good time for Peloton to drop this. But this past week, they released the 7 Days to Meditation program in both Spanish and German. So Mariana has 7 classes in Spanish. Nico Serrani has 7 in German. And you can find them under the meditation drop down.
Cool. Peloton is holding yet another sale on hardware devices. Both the devices themselves and corresponding accessory packages in the US, Canada, United Kingdom. All hardware devices are included in these offers: the Bike, Bike Plus, Tread, Tread Plus, the Row, and the Guide. And you've got very little time left when this episode comes out. The deal expires Tuesday, May 13th. So the Peloton homepage now showcases the deal with a new banner, and the Peloton deals page has been updated with the latest offerings. Customers can receive up to $800 off depending on the device and package they select. But here's the breakdown. So for the original Bike, you can get $300 off the device itself, the bike, or $400 off packages that you bundle. For the Bike Plus, you can get $495 off the bike or $700 off packages. For the Tread, you can get $300 off the Tread or $450 off packages. Tread Plus, you can get $700 off the device itself or $800 off packages. And then the Row, you can get $300 off the Row device or $400 off packages. And lastly, the Guide, you can get $50 off that device off the actual guide or $100 off packages. And then obviously I have to remind you, for anyone that purchases the hardware, especially someone, if this is their first piece of Peloton equipment, you do have to separately sign up for the all access membership in order to access all the content that you can take on it, which is about $44 a month. And then in addition, financing can also be applied to these current hardware offers. And like I said, yeah, we have another sale yet again, but Peloton had previously said that they were going to decrease the frequency of sales. However, we've already had a bunch so far in 2025. So
yeah, I guess they want to move that hardware. I mean, as we said, the earnings call showed that the hardware was not moving. So,
yeah.
And I was going to ask you, the guide's not free yet? They don't just throw it in.
Get a free guide. Yeah, throw in the guide with the bike
exactly, right?
or the Tread Plus.
I had to throw that in there. All right. Well, some legal news. A U.S. District Court has granted preliminary approval for the settlement of multiple derivative lawsuits that were filed against Peloton's leadership related in its handling of the 2021 Tread Plus recall and alleged insider trading. These lawsuits accused executives of downplaying safety issues while selling nearly $500 million in stock in advance of the recall. Some of these settlement terms are that no monetary payout will be made to shareholders, since these were not class actions, but Peloton's insurance company will pay $1.75 million in legal fees for the plaintiffs. There will be a numerous corporate governance reforms that are required, including an appointment of a new independent director, audit committee charter amendments to increase oversight of risk and product safety, maintenance of an executive product safety committee chaired by the VP of Safety, Ethics, and Compliance, strengthened oversight of stock trading by company officers, and more frequent meetings of the disclosure and risk management committees, and expanded whistleblower protections and financial training. Shareholders have until May the 30th of this month to object to the terms. A final hearing is set for June the 13th.
All right. Well, we have a new apparel drop just this past week. A nice, massive summer collection of about 50 different pieces are now on the Peloton apparel website. A lot of bright summer colors. There's a sky blue color, it's called, which is kind of, it almost is a cyan, light blue color with navy blue combined on those pieces. There's also a pink blossom color, which is sort of a combo of pink and red. And then there's also a bright orange color selection on a lot of pieces, as well as hibiscus color selection. But there's endurance strappy bras, there's run shorts, leggings, ankle socks, crop tee. There's a hat in there. So there's a lot of different options.
All right. I actually haven't even taken a look, so I got to take a look, but wait for it to go on sale. Yeah. All right. Well, this weekend, the amazing Susie Chan gets to celebrate a big milestone birthday. She turns fabulously 50 this past Saturday. So from us here at Pelo Buddy, a huge shout out and happy birthday to Susie. As we mentioned last week in the show, she is doing her 100 miles in May in celebration of her birthday. But that is a huge congrats and happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh, and while circling back to apparel, I just noticed there is a big Mother's Day sale up to 85% off.
Oh, wow. Not in everything.
I don't know. I can't remember when it's ending, but I noticed that when I was looking at some pieces yesterday for the summer collection. So
all right. Gotta take a look at that.
Yeah.
All right, John, let's go into instructor in the news. I'll go ahead and kick it off. First up, we wanted to share, we said we would when we got more details, but the Global Instructor Summits that were held separately this past few weeks at Peloton Studios in New York and then at PSL. The gatherings served as a rare annual opportunity for the instructors to reconnect in person and all together. So with a lot of them being off these 3-week stints and not around, they tend to lose contact with one another. So this was a nice opportunity for them to all kind of get together. In a recent class, in a pre-show, Ali Love, who is now the VP of Instructor Strategy and Development, shared deeper insights into the summit's purpose and evolution. She said that the instructors come together to reconnect and recommit to their craft, one another, and Peloton's culture. The goal is to reignite instructors' joy for teaching, encouraging creativity, and renewed energy in how they show up for members. Again, going back to Peter Stern's kind of, feeling about bringing the members back into it. The forefront. This year, the summits included keynote speakers and strategic sessions. At PSNY, they had Sahil Bloom, who is an entrepreneur and creator, that addressed the team with Ali as moderator. And at PSL, they had Fern Cotton, who is a broadcaster and mental health advocate, and she was the keynote speaker. So, whilst it's not all fun and games in what we kind of see, on social media, Ali did want to let everybody know that there is a purpose behind these instructor summits, and they are ultimately for gains of the members in getting the members to really get the best out of what the instructors have to offer.
It's not just for creating Insta Reels and TikToks,
Exactly.
which we did get some fun ones from
Right.
a lot of them.
Right.
Well, Susie Chan recently added another accolade to her impressive resume, Sports Performance Book of the Year at the 2025 Charles Tyrwhitt Sports Book Awards. The Sports Book Awards, they aim to spotlight and celebrate the finest sports books released in the past year. And Susie's book, Trails and Tribulations, The Running Adventures of Susie Chan, beat out a very competitive field to take home the honor. The Sportsbook Awards announced the win via Instagram, saying the winner of the 2025 Sports Performance Book of the Year is Trails and Tribulations, a celebration of the power of endurance, where ultra runner Susie Chan shares her journey through marathon setbacks and triumphs and proves it's never too late to find your stride. And then the Sports Performance Book Awards, their website notes that Susie has run the grueling Marathon des Sables.
Des Sables. Yep.
Des Sables.
Mm-hmm.
A six-day, 250-kilometer ultra marathon across the Sahara Desert, more times than any other UK woman. In addition, she set a 12-hour treadmill world record and was one of the first women to complete all 6 world marathon majors. And Susie shared her joy and gratitude on her own Instagram page, recognizing the honor and showing her, appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah, amazing. Just amazing. Well, from one unbelievable runner to another, Bex is hosting a fun new Nike podcast on YouTube called Comfort Zones. The tagline is where the shoes are comfortable, but the conversations are not. Her first interview is with Enya Umanzar, a podcaster and YouTuber. The podcast is done on the run, with Bex and her guest actually kind of running as she talks to the person she's interviewing. So just a fun getting down and dirty with folks while they run.
So is that the sort of the gimmick of it? They always do it while
Yes.
she's running with a guest.
Yes.
Different. Well, Peloton hosted a event at Peloton Studios New York last week with instructors Aditi Shah, Katie Wong, in honor of Asian and Pacific American Heritage Month. The event took place this past Wednesday, the 7th at 6 p.m., and it was announced on social media where they said, join us for an intimate evening with Katie and Aditi, along with special guests from AAF and Heart of Dinner to celebrate the rich cultural heritage achievements and contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. In the official event description, they said they will be decorating grocery bags as a community gathering to show warmth and connection to Asian elders. And each decorated bag you create carries a care package filled with nourishing, culturally thoughtful food, and often providing 2 to 4 days worth of meals, and serves as a loving reminder that they are seen, cherished, and never alone.
I love that. Wow. That's a cool activity to have done. Very, very cool. All right. Well, if you are up on the other side of the Northern Wall.
Lucky Canadians.
The Northern Wall. Andy Spear will be at an in-person meet and greet event at the CF Sherway Gardens showroom in Toronto, Canada, on Tuesday, May the 20th. He'll be there from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Those wanting to attend will have an opportunity to meet Andy and get pics with him. RSVP is required, so there's no fee, but guests who are on the list will only be permitted in. Again, this will be held at the Peloton retail store, 25 The West Mall in Toronto, Ontario. So
very cool.
A nice opportunity to get to meet Andy.
Well, Kirsten Ferguson was recently interviewed on ABC talking about her new walking boot camps, the importance of strength. She said the boot camp series kind of came about from her returning after she had hip surgery. And then she also talked about daily affirmations. She says she does it with her kids every day, having sort of a daily affirmation for that day. So when she drops her daughter off at school, her daughter Emery, she'll ask her, "What's your daily affirmation today?" And Emery will say, "I am Emery and I am brave." And then she says how sometimes that little affirmation, it comes back to her at some point during the course of her day at work. But it was a quick, segment, like 3 minutes. So nice watch. All right. So yeah, Adrian was recently at the Good Sports Gala. He posted on Instagram and said, "You get to a point in your life where you realize that giving back is a purpose we can all be a part of." He said, "Hearing John Perham speak so passionately about why the work we do with Good Sports left me feeling hopeful for kids and inspired to really dive into this work that shapes and changes the lives of so many." He said, "Last night was incredible. Thank you to all involved. Great things take time, and I am here for the journey."
Nice. And wrapping up Instructor in the News, for those of you who want those washboard abs for the summer, Maddie is doing his Core Every Day in May challenge. So make sure that you either jump on that if you haven't yet, or look into doing that. But he is very much into his core workouts, and certainly his birthday is coming up soon. So he always seems to do that in
He's a May one
Yep.
too, right?
Yep. He's also a Taurus. He is also a Taurus. I think his birthday is next Friday, if I'm not mistaken. All right, John, let's go into picks of the week. And why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
All right. First up, Aditi's 20-minute API hits Pilates from May 1st. Armature 3 said this really showed her love and support of the API community. And then heading over to Milo Wedekind, her Extra 10 listening party ride in German from May 2nd. Armature 3 said great pop songs and great for stacking. And then Hannah Corbin's 10-minute bar, glutes and legs from May 2nd. Amy MS Chalk said her lower body bar classes are next level.
Awesome. And then the row, Alex Kowarski's 20-minute endurance row. This one came to us from Gwen Gets To, and they said Alex picked songs on the theme of the best. He told some great stories during this relatively gentle endurance row that is mostly easy rowing with a couple short, moderate efforts. And then Matt Wolper's 60-minute power zone endurance ride. It was from the 3rd. And that one also came to us from Gwen Gets To. They said, thanks to the cadence switches, this is an all zone 2 ride that flew by. And then Ali Love had her 30-minute mental health awareness ride on the 4th, which was Sunday, came to us from Christina M. Romano. And they said a great message from Ali in this class.
All right, switching over to the strength studio. Andy Spears, 60-minute total strength from May 4th. Tabata Be Hitting Me said Andy was funny and had me laughing throughout the workout. Don't be fooled, though. It was still a hard class. Excited to see what this month brings. And then Nico Serrani's 30-minute 90s yoga flow, which was in English, from May 4th. Armature 3 said she took me back to high school with this playlist. And then Rebecca Kennedy's, finally, she has returned to the tread, teaching on the tread. She had a 30-minute hiking boot camp, which was a 50-50 from May 5th. I actually did it live. It was great.
Yeah, good one.
Tabata Be Hitting Me said killer workout at max incline. Yeah, I was at 15 the whole way. Max incline and a great full body strength workout in just 30 minutes. Excellent programming in this class.
Awesome. And then Ash Pryor had a 15-minute 90s hip hop row. This was from May the 5th. It also came to us from Tabata Be Hitting Me. Great to have Ash back. Her spirit and energy is unmatched. Great workout and fun. And then Rad Lopez had his 30-minute bike boot camp. Always fun to see Rad on the bike. This one was from the 6th. It came to us from Julie MJ. And they said it packed a serious punch and playlist was great. And then, of course, Bradley Rose's 20-minute mental health awareness ride. This one was from the 6th. It came to us from lots of people, myself included. It had to be a pick of the week for me. It came to us from Amaja 3, Marathon Mom 1970, The Rainer, Gordy Says, and I'm sure the Roses Rebels will join in saying it is a pick of the week for them. Some of the stuff that was said: love hearing Bradley tell his story in his mental health class. His vulnerability and openness is welcoming for those having done infertility or are doing infertility. So there's definitely kind of focus on his infertility journey. So if you're sensitive to that, just bear that in mind. But I think it's a helpful class, certainly. So those are those.
Bradley and his wife, Sophia?
Yes.
Are they due in June next month?
They are due in June, the end of June, maybe beginning of July. So she's coming up. She's amazing. Maybe actually August now that I'm thinking about it. And I think it was July. I think she's due July. She's due July.
Well, next up, Camilla Ramon's 15-minute medal ride from May 6th. Nurse Dina said, great playlist and ride from Camilla squeezed into 15 minutes. And then next up, Adrian Williams and Tunde Oyenen's 45-minute tag team row boot camp, which was from May 7th. Jeff 82DE said this was a great team up from Adrian and Tunde. And then over to the tread, Bex Gentry's 15-minute EDM ride from May 7th. Just Dance Lisa said it was great training and I plan to take it again.
Nice. And then wrapping up this week's picks of the week, we had Christian van der Velde's 45-minute Power Zone endurance ride from the 7th. Came to us from Tabata Be Hitting Me. They said, I don't normally do PZ classes and struggle with high cadence. Christian's coaching is top-notch, and I really felt guided through the whole class and was even able to keep my cadence high. That's a great endorsement. And then Hannah Frankson had a 30-minute progressive push. This was from the 7th. It came to us from Frank TFP and Eric Rides PPC. And they said, great new class format. So that was what we spoke about earlier in the show. And then wrapping up the picks of the week is Maddie Majacomo's 20-minute Jewish American Heritage Walk. That was from the 7th. And that one, of course, does come from me and Hannah TYZ, as well as the Magic Makers. And they said, great message and support from Maddie. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right.
And that, folks, are this week's picks of the week.
Good stuff.
So, we managed to get a lot of information to you in a pretty short amount of time. So, thank you, everybody.
We really got it streamlined now.
We do, John.
Well-oiled machine.
You literally jumping off the tread to jump onto a podcast. Me jumping off a podcast to head to my daughter's graduation.
All the sweat has dried up off of my face now.
Maybe, hopefully, our friend Eric PPC will be okay with it. So Eric, he had to. It was his birthday. He had to get those birthday shout outs. I hope you got them.
Got a couple so far. Yeah. Adrian missed that Thunder 45. It was very limited in terms of shout outs. There were no birthdays. No birthdays mentioned on that one. Got a real nice shout out from Olivia Amato, and she also played some songs in that playlist on her hike. And then Andy's on Thursday, May 8th, Andy taught a 20-minute hit run. He was subbing for someone, so there were some good tunes in there that I had given him. And he gave me a very nice birthday shout out. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, busy weekend. So hopefully all of you have a fabulous weekend or had a fabulous weekend. I am now the proud mother of a graduate from the University of Miami, and I am done with college tuition. Done. So sorry, John, you'll get there in a couple of years.
Until the grad
school, they're on their own.
Oh, okay. They're cut off there.
But they, until they ask. But very proud mama here.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Exciting times. All right.
Where do
folks.
they do the graduate? Obviously, are you?
It's done at the West Coast Center. It's done.
Is it an indoor air conditioned? venue? That's what I figured.
Cool. It is. So fun weekend. So birthday, graduation, Mother's Day. Oh, Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, happy Mother's Day to you. Can't forget that.
Right, between your birthday and graduation, I clean forgot about Mother's Day. So, of course, to all the mothers listening, happy Mother's Day. And thank you for tuning in on Mother's Day to listen to John and I. But as always, just thank you so much for taking the time, for spending the last hour with us. And as always, we will see you soon. So from me here down in Miami, bye for now. Bye for now, everybody.
And from me here in Michigan, thank you for tuning in, watching, and listening. And as always, we will see you on Leaderboard. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.